and unshare my screen and let's make sure we can give the highlight to the man himself, Danny Young. And I'm gonna pass it over to Frank. He's gonna be the one to interview Danny today. But just wanted to share how grateful we are to have Danny as one of our mentor. He's like a family to us. Him and his wife Sandy, just one of the sweetest people on earth. And we're so excited to spend time with them at conference as well. Frank, our agency director, is going to be interviewing Danny. So, Frank, please take away.
All right. Thank you, Sean, Kim. Thanks so much for that.
Uh-huh.
Can we spotlight Mr. Young here? Let's
Yeah,
see here.
yeah, I
All right.
found it here.
It's
Let's put him.
alphabetical.
Mr. Young, what can I say? Managing partner, 11 and a half years.
It's a
11
miracle.
years. You've been here. You're part of the big five, I call it,
Oh
right?
yeah. Oh yeah. I'm
Part of the big
somewhere there.
And listen, I'm not only just, I'm honored and also speechless to have you on, man. I know that you do a lot, whether you know it or not. So, from the bottom of our heart, we're so grateful to have you on. You're just an amazing person. And like Todd Spivey says, you're my forever, his forever upline, and that is for everyone here. And just so grateful that Sean had an opportunity to reach out and really like say, hey, Frank, you got to get on, man. You got to get on. And Sean actually was the one that connected myself to you when we had that
Right.
call
Right.
about so eternally grateful for the lineup. And I just listen, man. I just like you to introduce yourself, Mr. Young, and just tell everybody who you are, where you came from, and I'll just let you speak. I don't need to do much.
No, that's not true. It's not how it works, okay? You're gonna ask me questions, so I don't preach because I can preach all day long, all right? But I'm Danny Young. You tell them everything they need to know about. It's not about me anyway, Frank. It's about them, okay? Let's help some people, won't you? I've been insurance licensed 41 years. I'll tell you that. But I've been with Symmetry for 11 and a half years, and they are by far the best 11 years out of the 41. But I've been in the insurance business since 1984. I was with Primerica for 21 years. That's a long time to be with them. And I built something there. And then I found, or I should say that Mortgage Protection found me. And I was with another IMO for 7 years, where in 7 years I built a massive agency of about 45 writers doing about 250,000 a month after 7 years. And I ran appointments in the first 4 years there. I just recruited and trained. The last 3 years, I just built my agency, recruited, trained, motivated, taught people off a bridge, all that sort of stuff that comes with building. And that's the same IMO, Frank, you know this, that Brandon and Casey came from. And they left that place 4 years before I did. And they called me every year and I didn't take their call because I was pouting because they left without me. But in the fourth year, I was just unhappy enough to take Brandon's call. And they wound up flying me out to North Carolina. I spent a day and a half with them. And I talk about this part, Frank, because I need new people to understand what they have a hold of here, okay? 7 years I built there, and it was 45, 50 writers, maybe in a good month, 250, 260,000 a month in premium. I'm making about 260, all of it passive. And but when I met with Brandon and Casey in North Carolina, they were 4 years old to the month. They had started in October of '09. They did 86,000 in premium their first month in business. There was three of them running. They only had three of them licensed to run business. Brandon and Casey, for your information, ran appointments the first 2.5 years of Symmetry's life, just to keep the lights on. And then there was Casey's brother Linwood. So there was three of them. They did 86,000 in premium October of '09, first month as a company, 86,000. I met with them in October of 13. 4 years to the month later, they're doing 1 million a month. Here we are 11 and a half years later, and they're doing 20 million a month. So, they've been up, 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 up. Every year for 15 years they've been up, and they will continue to go up every year because we continue to get bigger and we continue to get more people, better people. And with all these layoffs coming and people wanting a different career and people want to do stuff from home, this thing's just going to get bigger and bigger. And so I came here after that, going to North Carolina and meeting with them. I came here. I was the first agent for cemetery in the state of Louisiana. My first recruit was the first agent in the state of Oklahoma. Matter of fact, in those days, Frank, they were cemetery was getting, now they were 4 years old. They were getting 80% of their business from 7 states on the East Coast. That's how far they had expanded. So I was
Wow.
first in Louisiana, and I've been here 11 and a half years, and now, we've gone from doing 250, 260,000 a month there after 7 years. We're averaging about 2.8 million a month here. Instead of 45 writers, we got somewhere between 550 and 600 writers a month. And I tell you that part, Frank, because I want people to understand, I didn't get that much better, going from that other place to here. This place is better. The ownership is incredibly better. The culture is incredibly better. Leads are better, products are better. We have more of them. We're virtual. We're so far ahead of the rest of the industry with virtual appointments. It's not even funny. And so it's just going to continue to keep growing. And you can get whatever you want here. You can get here. So, but that's me, Frank. That's how I got here. I was 4 months short of being 67 years old when I showed up. Now I'm 78 and I have the third largest agency here. And it's because we have found people like y'all. So back to
Yeah,
you.
it's phenomenal what when we came in, you were literally like 5 years into it. And I remember you being huge then. And I just couldn't imagine where you're at now. And so what I want to do is I wanted to take this back a little bit because I mean you do have an amazing wealth of experience in the business. You said you haven't gotten better. I'm going to call you out on that, even though we love you. And
Well,
we're going to.
I've gotten bigger, bigger as a person. Okay. Which is the key to
So
this thing. Because if you want a big agency, you got to get big as a person. I'm talking about mentally big. Okay, you got to get mentally strong. So go ahead. I'm sorry.
no, no, that's what I want to hear. I mean, that's amazing. So when you first started, how did you approach building the business through what you always say is warm market? I mean, that is your key, and I've learned a ton about setting those anchors for your team. Um, without feel like talk to us about that part. Like how did you start?
Are you talking about when I started in the insurance industry 41 years ago? Is that what you're talking about?
Absolutely.
'Cause I've been
Absolutely.
look, I've been warm market my entire career. I don't. I some of y'all love this. 41 years, my recruiting budget is still at zero. I've never spent a dime on recruiting. And there's written, and look, this is just a personal choice. Okay, I don't care. I don't care how you do, how you build. I don't care. You can stand out in front of Walmart with a placard that says you peddle insurance. Want to come peddle something with me? I don't care how you do it. Okay, but if it works, this is what gets me. There are so many people in cemetery trying to build, and they're trying to build in a way that's not working for them. How do I know it's not working for them? I see all y'all's numbers. Okay, you can't do much of anything here without me seeing it. And so I don't care how somebody recruits. I don't care how they build. But every now and then, look at your numbers because your numbers are going to tell you whether or not it's working for you. Just because it works for somebody else doesn't mean it's going to work for you. All right. So, but me, back to me, Frank. I've always, 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 because when I got in the insurance industry, I was 37 years old. But see, I came into the insurance industry with two things, and these two things were deep, deep. They were like marrow, bone marrow deep in me. Okay. I didn't want to be a salesperson, period. Salespeople scared me. So, look, salespeople were the reason that I was at Exxon. I worked 16 years at Exxon. I was a shift supervisor. I was making 49,000 a year in 1984. Okay, but I was broke as a goat because I had a wife, still have her, two kids, still have them, and you're not budgeted for stuff like private school and that sort of thing, which is what really was a tipping point for us. So, but I did not want to see salespeople were the reason I was in debt because they made me buy the stuff that they were trying to sell me because I was such a wuss. And so I didn't want to be in sales. I did not want to be in sales of any kind. Number two, I didn't want to be associated with insurance. I mean, insurance back in those days, insurance had a terrible, these people, you ran from these people because especially guys, guys are stupid. They don't think they're going to die. They got a big S on their chest. And so I didn't want to be in insurance. I definitely didn't want to be in sales in it. But I also didn't want to take our kids out of private school, and that overweighed my fear. So my family was more important than my fear. So I thought I'd try part-time. And that's what I did. I went to work for Primerica part-time. I worked part-time for 13 months. My first 12 months, I made $21,000, which was life-saving for us. Okay. And then in my 13th month, it made sense to me, 38 years old, to go ahead and quit my $49,000 a year job with benefits to work my $21,000 a year job without benefits full time. And nobody in the world, I think there were 6 billion people on earth at that time. Nobody thought that was a good idea except for me and San Diego.
Right.
And so I did that. Best financial decision I ever made in my life. And I was with them 21 years. But look, once again, right, I came in, I didn't want to be in sales. I didn't want to call to set appointments. When I first started, because Primerica had no leads. You're calling friends and family, or you might be like me towards the end where you go into Circle K or Stop and Rob and take business cards out of the fish bowl by the cash register when the guy wasn't looking. Okay, so I'd have a name and a number to call. But I didn't like doing that. When I first started dialing, look, I'm standing up, I'm walking around in my house, I'm sweating blood. And as the phone is ringing, I'm saying out loud, please don't answer. Please don't answer. Now that's a great way to get an appointment, isn't it? I hated that part. So what I decided was, in order to not have to do that, I'm going to go out and I'm going to recruit me a bunch of people, and they can do it. Because there got to be people that like dialing more than I did. I was scared to death of it. I don't like people telling me no. I think that's somewhere from deep in my childhood. Okay. And so I didn't like calling people because they might tell me no. And so that's why I started building, Frank, because I wanted to build a team. I came from athletics. I came from everything I did was team oriented,
Right.
growing up. And so I wanted help. And since Primerica was all warm market, typically, I mean, you could call people out of the phone book if you wanted to. I wasn't going to do that. And plus, see, I think the big thing was, and to this day, see, I heard John Maxwell say one time, I was in the room when he said it. He said, work on your strengths, outsource your weaknesses. And that's what
Ooh,
I've done. Saved my life when he said that, okay, when I heard that. Because your life can change on a dime. You can hear one thing from one person that can change the trajectory of your life. That was one that changed mine. And so I know what I'm good at. I know what I'm weak at, and I don't do at all. You can't catch me doing something I'm not any good at. And there's only two or three things I'm good at, but thank goodness those two or three things work well here. So I wanted to build because I was better. Think about this, Frank. How old are you, Frank, now? 38, 39?
thank you. No, I'm 52. April, I turned 52 years old, brother.
All right. Happy birthday.
Thank you.
But look, 52 years old. Now, would you think at 52, how long have you been, say, interviewing people? Calling resumes and doing that. How long have you done that?
I would say 7 years.
Okay,
Back
7 years. All right. How long have you been having conversations with people in your 52 years?
all my life. I mean,
Yes. Yes. Since you're three.
yeah.
Yeah. So which one? See, this is all simple math. Which one of those two things, having a conversation or interviewing, would you think you should be better at?
I think I'm a lot better at getting to the heart of things and talking to people and speaking with them.
I think you're better at conversation. Most people are because you've been doing it longer. You're more comfortable doing it. Well, that's where
Right.
I was. See, I hated insurance, but I love people. I
Yeah.
hated sales, but I love people. And so I was much, much, much better at talking to people I knew, having conversations with people I knew, than I was at cold calling, cold market recruiting. That's why I don't do it to this day. Look, I got on a three-way call with you and Sean Kim. Sean and Amanda, by the way, y'all two of my favorite people. I'm telling you, every trip we go on together, we have a dinner together, just the four of us, and that's so super cool. Every time we go on a trip.
Oh, that'd be nice.
So, but see, I want to have conversations. Well, you can't have a conversation with a resume because a resume doesn't know you. Resume doesn't trust you. Resume is listening with one ear. The other ear is listening for the screw job because it's always been there. They're looking for the gotcha.
Right.
Trends don't do that. Okay. And I'll give you another example, Frank. How long have y'all been married? Frank?
My wife and I, we're going on 13 years.
Okay, 13 years. Now, this was, look, glorious day, right?
Yeah.
Glorious day for her. All right, you're waiting on the food and the honeymoon, but for her, it's a glorious day. Okay. And so, since it's a glorious day, what you want is you want to invite people to come
Oof.
celebrate your glorious day with you. That's what you want to do. Okay. And you do that by sending out invitations, right? And then friends, family, acquaintances, whatever, they come celebrate your glorious day with you. All right. Now, I know it's been 13 years. You probably don't remember, but give me an approximate number. How many people, how many invitations did you send out to strangers?
Not very many. No, none.
Yeah,
None.
none is the word. Okay, none's not a very big number. Okay, you sent out none. So here we are 13 years later. Somebody comes to work here. This is the best thing they've ever seen. This is what they've been praying for, that somebody would introduce them to something like this. Okay, because they see this thing. This could be what you've been wanting your entire life. This could be something to get you out of that job you hate. This could be something that could determine really how you get to live the rest of your life. And so what you do is you want people to come celebrate this with you, this glorious opportunity that you have. And so what you do is you send out invitations to every stranger you can find.
No.
Now that
Yeah.
didn't make sense to me at all. Okay. See, I think that if this thing is good for you, I think it ought to be good for the people you care about. How can you interview 10 strangers a day and not talk to your brother-in-law? I don't get that at all. Okay. And so I never did that. But see, it didn't just end with that. See, I think, and I think I'm right on this, right? I think the reason most people don't warm market recruit. Now, when I got here 11 and a half years ago, listen to me, nobody was warm market recruiting. Look, they were just 11 and a half years ago, they're running want ads in a newspaper. Do they even have newspapers now? Much less want ads. But that's what they were doing. They're running want ads.
Right.
And so when I got here and saw that nobody was building, I'm thinking this is going to be good. This is going to be real, real good. Okay. And so I didn't just recruit people I knew. I guarantee you the vast majority of my agency has come from me doing three-way calls with y'all.
Yeah.
That's like Cambrell showed up. Cambrell
Right.
found his way here. Okay. He started by calling the home office, but he found his way here. But look at this. Capistrano came off of a three-way call with me and Kyle. Darren Stubbs and Eric Andre came off a four-way call with me and Tony.
Right.
Um, on and on and on and on. Okay. That leg, look, the leg that y'all are in, think about this. Tar's leg is 12 deep in AOs.
Wow.
12 deep in AOs. It's 5 deep in 130 contracts. It's 4 deep in equity partners. That's the
Yeah.
strongest leg. That's the strongest leg in symmetry, bar none. And it came, look, this is what's crazy. It came from me getting one guy, because new people come here and they look at like Marshall or Edward or something. They think they got to get 10,000 people. You don't, okay? One guy that I ran into outside a coffee shop in 2006. How long ago was that? 19 years ago?
Yeah.
Seen him in 3 or 4 years. He'd been with Primerica a few years earlier, hated every minute of it, but a sharp guy. He's early 40s, outside sales. I'm going in a coffee shop and he's standing outside on his cell phone. And I just waved to him. And when I got ready to leave the coffee shop, he's sitting in a booth. I slide in the booth. He said, "Are you still with Primerica?" I said, "Matter of fact, I'm not. I left 3 months ago." He said, "What are you doing?" I showed him a lead sheet. It's all I had with me. He said, "You think I could make $1,000 a month working with you part time?" See, look, he had a 16-year-old daughter in Catholic school down here. He
Hmm.
said she's costing, I'm paying $1,400 a month to send that child to high school. He said, now that includes the tutor, to which I said, you should have had a smarter kid. See, you can't say that to a resume. Okay. You can say that to a friend, but you can't. And he laughed. Okay. Which I knew he was going to do. Anyway, he had to go back and get his license renewed. Took him 6 weeks because he had let it lapse.
Right.
It took him 6 weeks to get it back. In that 6 week period, Frank, he brought me 36 people, all
Wow.
friends of his. One was a friend of his in Sacramento. We got her. Through her, I got a friend of hers in Oklahoma City, got a friend of his in Oklahoma City, got a friend of his in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and I got a friend of the Tulsa guy's daughter in Nashville, Tennessee, named Ashley Tarr.
Wow.
See, listen to me. My world changed. I want you to understand this now. This is how your life can change. Okay, it all changed the day that we got Ashley Tarr. And from her came all y'all. And look, I had a conversation with, and this is how. Let me show you how I recruit. Okay, this is how I do it. Because when I get a recruit, my brain is telling me three things all at one time. Number one, this is going to be my next agency owner. See, I'm going to believe that until that person proves me wrong. Now, they may prove me wrong day two, okay? But until they prove me wrong, I'm going to believe this is going to be, I can get this person to agency owner. If they come here, if they're coachable, if they got a work ethic, good attitude, I promise you I can get them to agency owner. But the second thing that my brain is thinking is if you don't get this person, this new person, if you don't get them someone this week, they're going to quit next week. And I don't mean go get them somebody and give it to them. I'm talking about I get them somebody in their warm market ASAP because the only thing, if you can accept this, I'm telling you it'll change your life. The only thing that keeps people here long term is having people. Money won't keep them here, leads won't keep them here, contracts won't keep them here. Having somebody keeps them here because greed kicks in. They don't want to leave their one poor, pitiful recruit they have. They don't want to leave and go to work at Target and have their one little pitiful recruit turn into a $10,000 or $100,000 agency, $1 million agency, and they're still working at Target.
Right.
So that's the second thing my brain says. The third thing my brain says is I'd be willing to bet that this new person's best friend could be the next Sean Kim. See, now I've got a sense of urgency. I got it. And here's a mistake people make. You interview a resume, and can you get good people doing that? Absolutely. But the problem with that is, if that's all you're doing, you can't get your new recruit a recruit day one the way you got them
Right.
because they're not on LinkedIn or ZipRecruiter or Indeed. They're not on that. They're not going to pay money day one to recruit people. So what do you have to do? You have to put them on the producer path. Get them in Summit, teach them about leads and teach them how to dial and set appointments and run all that stuff. And look, they're going to go down the producer path and they're going to produce until they don't. It may be 2 weeks, 2 months, 2 years, but they're going to come. There's going to come a day where they can't dial anymore. They just psychologically can't do it anymore. Now, do you have some people that can continue? Bo Hertzfield, but understand, Bo is not the norm. Bo is a freak to do what he's done. He's written 500,000 personally for like 3 years in a row. It's just stupid. That he beat my career numbers his first year. Okay, but see, he's a freak. Most people can't just produce and produce and produce long term. They can't. So what I want people to stay here. You know who stays here? People who build an agency. That's who stays here. People with people. And so those are the three things. But look, I talked to Michael Matthews. Let me show you, see if you can understand my drawing. This is how I operate, Frank, and you know this because you've taken advantage of it, okay?
I love it.
You see, there's Michael Matthews. Michael Matthews was just cold market recruiting, okay? And he was like stuck in the mud.
Sure. Show
So
it again.
I said, Michael, look at this. You go out and get recruit number one. I don't care how you get them. You can stand out in front of Walmart. You get recruit number one, but as soon as you get recruit number one, what I want you to do is I want you to take some of your focus and put it on getting number one, a recruit. Number two.
Right.
Here's what happens when you do that. And I want you to do it in their warm market. And so when you get recruit number two, here's what happens. It locks in recruit number one. They're not going anywhere now. But see, when you get recruit number two, I want you to take some of your focus and put it on getting recruit number two, a recruit. That's number three. What that does is it locks in recruit number two and it welds in recruit number one. This is how I operate. Now understand this. You see this? You see this? Ashley Tarr was person number 6.
Wow.
I dug through 5 people and found her. And when I did, the world changed. And that one guy outside the coffee shop 19 years ago, one guy that led me to Ashley Tarr. He lasted a year. I think his daughter graduated or something. Sacramento lasted 3 years and became a life coach with John Maxwell's group. Oklahoma City guys lasted about 18 months. Thank goodness one of them was a lunatic. The Tulsa guy's still here, but he's got some health problems. But you know Tar and all of y'all. That one guy 19 years ago outside a coffee shop, just totally random. But see, I was ready. When I run into him, I was ready. I had a lead sheet with me. That one guy last year, 18 years later, 2024, was responsible for 24 million of the 30 million that we did.
Oh my God.
One guy. And
So
listen to me. This is when people are out there cold market recruiting, what you're doing is you're panning for gold. If you ever seen that on the Discovery Channel or something in California, take your big pan, you go down to the stream and you drag your pan through that mud and gravel and stuff and shake it and try to find something that shines. Little bitty piece of gold you can put in your little leather pouch.
right,
Hot sun. See, I figured out early on it's way better to go in the gold mine and find a vein of gold. That's what I did with that guy in the coffee outside the coffee shop.
mm,
I found a vein of gold 19 years ago that I am still mining for 19 years later that my kids and grandkids will continue to mine. See, and look, and it's cooler in there, by the way.
yeah,
So that's the way I chose to build, okay? So when I get somebody, and a lot of y'all know this, when I get somebody that's good, see, here's another law. Good people know good people. Everybody on this call has two, three, four, five, six people that would come take a look at this if you ask them to, because of your credibility, because they've never known you to be a fool. You ask them to watch a couple of 3-minute videos, which is how I recruit, okay? I send 2 3-minute videos to people. I don't send the corporate overview that's hour and 45 minutes. People have an
right,
attention span of about 20 minutes these days. I send 2 3-minute videos and see who responds back. Who does it resonate with? Who does it find whose timing is right to take a look at something else? And then I do a three-way call with them with my new recruits. See, I don't think I finished earlier saying why I think most people don't want to recruit. They don't want their brother-in-law to tell them no. They don't want their brother-in-law to tell them you sound stupid. You know,
right.
you're a school teacher. Now you want to talk to me about my insurance policies. You're stupid. And see, once you tell a guy he's stupid, he ain't calling another person the rest of his life. Okay. And so I don't let my new people talk to their warm market. I let my new people send a text with those two videos attached to it, 3 minutes each. One is this is symmetry, and the other one's like the people of symmetry, something like that. And so your brother-in-law will watch two videos as you ask him to watch because people like helping people if it doesn't cost them money, and they think they get heaven points, if they help somebody else. So the brother-in-law will watch. The text just says, take a look at these two videos and see if you know somebody. You ain't asking the brother-in-law to come here. See if
Right.
he knows somebody that might want to come work part-time to make an extra 1,500, $2,000 a month in the wealthiest industry on earth, highly regulated. And I can have my brand new guy send out two or three, 10 or 20, 100, and somebody's going to respond back. And when somebody responds back, I have my new guy, brand new, set up a three-way call with him, me, and the brother-in-law. You'd be surprised how many brother-in-laws we get that watch the videos, not knowing that they were actually looking for something else to make more money. Think about how many people out there can't take a deep breath right now because they're just saddled with debt. They're having to
Absolutely.
cancel their Disney trip. They're having to cancel their kids' summer ball. They're having to not do things they used to do before COVID. Never, ever, ever been a better time right now to build something substantial here. Plus, I read the other day there's like 2,200, almost 2,300 companies that have layoffs planned for this year between now and the end of the year.
Yeah.
UPS just laid off 20,000 drivers. Microsoft laid off 9,000 people. There's never, ever, ever been a better time to come here and build something because they got so many people are going to be available out there. Where are you going to go? You get laid off. You're going to go to another company that's laying off? I don't think so. We ought to be
So
bringing those people in like you're fishing with dynamite, man. I'm telling you, it's unbelievable what's ahead if you take advantage of it. If you're ready and you take advantage of it. So I forgot
Dan,
what your question was, Frank.
I just it's all right. I want to get a pulse of everybody on. I mean, those three things have built you, you said more than $24 million, those three things. So if you guys are listening right now and you're not, you're taking notes, go ahead and post a one on the comment section there and show some love and gratitude to Mr. Young. While we're, yep, we got him going, Danny. Danny, one thing that stood out before we even began to talk, it's like almost like the Lord put this in my ear, man. Selective to protect your business.
Yeah.
Selective. So because you know these people, you
I want
already
to
know.
know something about who I'm getting. I'm telling you, I don't look, you can get a serial killer off some of them sites. I'm telling you, without knowing it, okay? I don't want that. I told somebody the other day, Frank, this is why, see, I run my business like this. This is why I could never be an Uber driver. I don't want a stranger in the back seat of my vehicle.
Right.
It just to me doesn't sound like a good thing long term. Okay. And I'm sure that's being kind of silly, but still, it's the same thing. I want to know who I'm getting because look, I'm at an age. How many times you heard that your agency is going to grow at the speed of trust? How
Ooh,
much trust does a resume have with you? None. None. That's why it's so difficult. I want to know something about what I'm getting because I want them to fit. You and I talked about this on that first call with Sean. I want people that fit. That's why I ask you questions. That's why I listen to you. I know all about, look, you're there, you're in their top 10 at their conference. You get a sword at their conference. You're one of the rising stars at that other IMO, right?
right.
And you made $40,000 that year
31.
and got a sword.
I have it right here.
You came here and your first year here, you could buy all the swords you wanted. So I just want to know. To me, it's common sense that a friend might still quit on you, but they ain't gonna do it. They ain't gonna just evaporate. They may tell you, look, this is just too hard for me. I wish I could do this, but I just don't think it's for me. A friend will do that. A friend will listen to you. See, a stranger doesn't know you, doesn't trust you, won't listen to you, which means they're probably going to fail. And they're
Yeah.
the first ones to bail out. Y'all all know that. First one. So my point to all this is if you're in a cold market recruiting and you're just tearing it up, please keep doing it. Okay. McManaman's an example of that. McManaman is building something massive, just cold market. Okay.
Yeah,
Now,
but
I don't think I could drink 20 Red Bulls in a day, but he manages somehow. He's also not the norm. He's
yeah,
a freak.
Tranquil. That's
He's a
his,
freak.
yeah, Tranquil. Yeah, I mean he does have warm market too. Those are his anchors, which we
I know.
call it.
I know. And
So
look, they're all, I've been preaching this sermon, Frank, you know this, for 11 and a half years. And I was the only one. I was just a voice in the forest for the longest time. But more and more of them are coming this way. See, because you can look. I talked to a guy, not in my age, under Alvarado. I talked to him and his AOs the other day. And this is a typical thing, okay? See if y'all this resonates with you. One of his AOs, I don't even know his name, okay? But he said the problem is that his number of writers in a month dropped from 19 to 9.
mhm.
Okay. So he's got 9 writers now.
Mhm.
I said, how are you recruiting? I'm recruiting with what's
Auto
Federico's thing?
auto mentor. Yeah.
Yeah. So Automentor. He said I was spending, listen to me, I was spending 2,000 a month,
Mm.
but I just upped it to 4,000 a month. So I said, well, let me get this right. First of all, how many interviews you think you have to do to develop one new writer? Approximately. Because it's different for everybody, okay? And he was talking about his whole team, him and the 9 writers, okay? He said, we have to do about 70 interviews to get one new writer. I said, okay, so 70 times 12, how much is that? 840 interviews in a year. In the same year that your writers went from 19 to 9. How do you think that's working?
Yeah, right.
What if you upped it to 8,000? Look, if you're doing something that's not working, doing more of that is not going to make it work. I could get up right now and go beat my head against this wall over here and say, well, maybe if I beat it against the wall faster, I'll feel better. No, no. See, doing something that doesn't work for you, and how do you know? You look at your numbers. And it's all about writers. I'm telling you, I think I said it last night on the call. If you want more apps in a month, you need to develop more writers. If you want more premium in a month, you got to develop more writers. If you want more promotions in a month, you got to develop more writers. If you want more deposits, you got to develop more writers. Do you see a pattern? Everything about your business flows from how many writers you have. I have between 550 and 600 writers a month right now. I want to have 1,000. But if I'm going to have 1,000, I got to get bigger mentally. I do. Because look, when I came here 11 and a half years ago, I couldn't have handled 550 writers. But I've grown to the point mentally where I can. I want to see if I can handle 1,000. And I know I can because I'm willing to get bigger because the stronger you get mentally, the bigger your agency is going to be. It's not look, a big agency doesn't make you stronger mentally. It's the other way around, okay? You got to get stronger mentally. Those people that come here and do well initially, because everybody doesn't do well initially, so but that's because you haven't grown mentally as much as because I think Sean Kim came here mentally stronger than the average bear. Frank Brenes, Stephen Brenes came here. Bo Hirschfield was used to people telling him yes because he was a bartender, want another one, yes. So he came here with an advantage. But most people don't. Most people that come here from a job, having people tell you what to do, because look, here's most people's lives. Their parents tell them what to do, their coaches tell them what to do, their teachers tell them what to do, their bosses tell them what to do, and then they show up here and they wait for somebody to tell them what to do because that's how they were raised. You got to tell yourself what to do here. If you can't tell yourself what to do, then it's going to be a struggle. So, but that I mean that's why I want market recruit. It's if you want to build something big, quick. The only way to do it is warm market. Because see, when you recruit somebody off a resume, when are you going to get them somebody?
Right.
But I can recruit somebody. Look, I had a guy call me last night, Frank. This happens when you put in the work and you do stuff that helps other people,
Right.
you're gonna get rewarded.
Yes,
You don't
sir.
know when, you don't know where, you don't know how much. I got a text yesterday morning, Sunday morning. Guy told me his name. He said, "Look, I'm looking to get into the life and health industry, and Brian Pope told me to call you."
Wow.
Brian Pope. He said, "Do you have time to chat?" I said, I can chat today between 1 and 4. I said, he had a 530 area code, Frank, 530 or 532. So like it was California. I Googled it. Okay. California. So I'm thinking he's Pacific time. I said, look, I can talk somewhere between 1 and 4 this afternoon, or I can talk tomorrow afternoon. He said, I can do this afternoon. I said, you in the Pacific time zone? He said, no. I said, you have a California area code? He said, no, I'm in Oklahoma. I'm in the Central time. So anyway, I get on the phone with this guy. Look, I didn't call him. I said, call me at 1. See, that's a
Sure.
test. I want to see if somebody is coachable, okay? He called me at 1 o'clock. 38 years old, has worked in the oil field, but I mean, look, sounded great, okay? I told him about symmetry. I talk about two things to people when I do my three-way calls. What I don't talk about is I don't talk about leads. This is heresy, okay? I don't talk about leads. I don't talk about contracts. I don't talk about training because those three things appeal to producers. I'm not looking for producers. I talk about the two things that appeals to builders. I want builders because builders stay. Producers leave over time. I got to put my time into people that are going to stay. And so what I talk on my three-way calls, what I talked to this guy yesterday about was the two things that attracts builders. That's bonuses and ownership. That's two things people can't get out there in the real world. Can't get either one of them in the real world. They get it here. Okay. So I talked about that. I wound up sending the guy the two videos. I sent him two of my Sunday night calls because here's what I know, Frank. The kind of people that my Sunday night call resonates with are the kind of people I'm looking for. Y'all notice, Frank, you've been on my calls, ever since you've been here. How many times you heard me talk about training on my call?
You don't.
At
That's a
all, period.
big
11 and a
fact.
half years. Never. I've never had
Okay.
anybody on my call doing training because you can't train people to AO. You can't train people to 130. You can't train people to equity partner. You inspire people to those places, but you can't train them there. We think that the more you know, the better you're going to do. That's just not true. Your how is absolutely not going to get you out of the ditch when you get in the ditch. The only thing that's going to get you out of the ditch is your why. What do you want? That's what drives people, okay? And so I sent him pre-licensing, two of my calls, and the two 3-minute videos. I'm gonna tell you, I emailed that man, 38 years old, married, has a 5-year-old daughter.
Right.
2 minutes later, I get an email saying he's in pre-licensing. Now, here's what's going to happen. I'm gonna recruit the crap out of his market. That's what I'm gonna do because I've talked to him about building an agency that you own. You own, got your name on it. It's going to be the Han agency for the next 100 years, maybe. And he can build, look, no territories, build it wherever you want, with whoever you want, as fast as you want, as big as you want. You're the CEO starting today. You are.
Wow.
And that's all I talk about. I don't talk about, hey man, let me tell you about this. See, my brain is so funny, I can't even think of Frederico's thing. 2 minutes later, I can't think of it. Okay.
Yeah, it's okay. Auto mentor.
Yeah. So, I'm still looking for the person that's tearing that up. Okay. I hadn't found them yet, but they got to be out there somewhere. Can you get people that way? Yes. But understand this, there's 12 partners in Symmetry.
Right.
12 associate partners, senior partner, managing partners, 12 of us. Two of the 12 are cold market.
Yeah.
Edward Pritchett answered a want ad in the newspaper, left that interview with Casey, and went straight to his friend Brian Delaney. So Edward was cold market for about 5 minutes. The
Right.
other one was Ryan Miller, got him off of LinkedIn. Ryan Miller left his interview and went and hired his 12 brothers. So
But
he was
that's
cold market for about 5 minutes. I'm just telling you, if you want easier, you want simpler, you want faster, you want bigger. Only way to do it, I think, is a warm market, and that used to be heresy, Frank. It's not heresy anymore, okay? Because
no,
here's
I
what.
believe we
Let,
believe
let,
it.
let me let me just finish this, and we'll hang up or whatever. Okay, you go me or something.
No, no, go
Look,
ahead.
look. If you're recruiting just cold market, you get somebody direct to you, you get somebody else that direct to you, you get somebody else they direct to you, they direct you, they direct to you, and by the time you get number six, number seven, you look back and one, two, and three have quit. Okay. Now you got to
Yeah.
go fill those holes. So you may be a half mile wide, but you're a half inch deep. You can't build a tall building on a half inch foundation because nobody has anybody because you can't get them to cold market recruit day one. You can't. And so people don't even try. They put them up in Summit and they teach them how to sell and they sell till they don't. But see, what you want here is you want mass. See, you want deep. Frank, I've been here 11 and a half years. I'm 10 wide, 10. But I'm deep as hell.
Yeah.
And so if one guy gets a bad attitude, doesn't affect me. If one guy wants to go, on a Disney cruise once a month, doesn't affect me. One guy wants to quit, doesn't affect me. Because when one guy quits, somebody else pops up. If you're just wide, one guy quits, you got a hole in your foundation. You got nobody to pop up. You can't build anything strong on a half inch foundation. You can't.
Danny,
And
so I want to identify. Remember, we're being selective, and I've always used this in the back of my mind. You use VIP, VIN, VIR. You talk about
no,
that. And so,
it's VIP. Very important people. And if you build an agency, you're going to have four kinds of people on your team. Okay. You're going to have VIPs, you're very important people. They're the people you don't have to get up every day and worry if they're doing what they're supposed to be doing. They are. Okay. Then you're going to have VTPs. VTPs are your newer people that are coachable. They're teachable. Okay. And they're going to be your next wave of VIPs. Then you have your VNPs, you're very nice people. They come to everything. They're on every huddle you have. They're there, got the cat on their shoulder, but they're there every time. They just don't ever do anything. And then you got your VDPs, that's your very draining people. These are the people that write one app a quarter. It's fully underwritten. It's got, 20 supplemental forms and the carrier loses it. Here's the danger to AOs, okay, or the people they're uplines. The danger is that the VNPs, the last two categories, the VNPs and the VDPs want 90% of your time. The VIPs and the VTPs deserve 90% of your time. I give no time at all to VNPs and VDPs. I talked to somebody the other day, Frank, and I said, an atom is made up of protons and neutrons. See, there's protons. Protons are positively charged, okay? Neutrons are neutrally charged. And then there's morons, Frank. They are negatively charged, okay? I'm looking for protons, okay? I am not looking for morons. So that's just the way I look at my business. Look, I want to know what I'm getting. I want to know if they add to my agency. I want to know if they're not going to add to my agency. If they're not going to add to it, then I don't want lone rangers for one thing. I don't want people that don't like helping other people. I've got a lot of people in my agency, Frank. Look, I've sent people. Call Sean Kemp. Call Stephen Brenes. Call Bo Hirschfield. Call. They'll tell you. I don't know the answer. I don't know anything about products. I live 100% on the people side of my agency. I've got my son, my daughter take care of the product side of I don't know anything about that stuff. They announced a couple months ago that Navigator 2 or something was live. I'm thinking, where'd Navigator 1 go? I didn't know we had a Navigator 1. And here we are, we got Navigator 2. I don't know any of that stuff because that's pennies. I work in the dollar place.
Everyone just please go ahead and show some gratitude for Danny Young right there. I mean, go ahead and post a one if you're still on, you're listening.
If you're
And
still on, it's a key when I talk,
well, no,
okay?
just look,
If you're still on.
I know for sure everyone's still on. I know everyone's still on, but I'd be remiss to to give if I didn't give my honor and my time to Mr. Kim and his lovely wife. They've been so impactful to the business, to everybody. And
Absolutely.
what I want to do now is I just want to open the floor for Sean and Amanda and just kind of just be quiet and listen to them if you guys have anything. And I know I think we could go on for another hour, Danny. I really do, man. You're just amazing. Mr. Sean and Amanda, go ahead and take over, please.
Yeah, thanks, Frank. You did an amazing job interviewing Danny. Danny, we just want to say that thank you so much for coming on to our call and just pouring into our agents. And we're just taking notes, busy taking notes, and love your sense of humor too.
And just how real you are.
Yeah, how real you are. And we're excited to see you at conference.
Yes.
Oh, it's going to be great. It's going to be great. And let me tell you something. This thing goes so fast. Y'all know this. I mean, I feel like I'm doing a Sunday night call like every 3 days. It's just time flies.
Yeah.
But y'all, Sean, and you and Amanda know this. You look at your agency. I mean, look at the people you have. Look at the AOs that you have. You got some strong, strong, strong people. And see, you could take those people. I don't know if it's six or seven of them or whatever, but you could take that, and if they would start talking to people that they know, where they know what they're getting, and because you can get, I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna take this Oklahoma guy and I'm gonna have people for him, and people for them, and people for them, and people for them. That's what I'm gonna do. And he's gonna look. You can help somebody make a sale here. You can, and they're gonna be excited. But you help somebody get a recruit, they're gonna stay excited. Big difference.
Mm.
Big difference. Okay. But the two of y'all, see, y'all are a perfect example that quality brings you quality. Good people bring you good people because they don't come any better, Sean, than you and Amanda. They don't.
Oh.
And look at the people you get, the Brenes family. I guarantee you there's nobody in the world that knows Stefan and Frank that thinks they've ever been a fool. They know what kind of people they are. So if they say, hey, look, I need you to take a look at a couple of little short videos for me, see if you know somebody that might want to come work with me part-time. How many
Yeah.
times a day could you do that?
Right.
And
Yeah.
somebody's going to respond back because somebody is going to be the right time for them looking. Because since COVID, a million people want to do something different with their life and they want to do it from home. We have both those things for them. So y'all just need to use your credibility, use your quality people. Because look, I don't look at a person when I got this guy yesterday. I don't look at this as one guy. I look at this as him and every single person he knows. He's got a village, and in that village, maybe the next one person I get that turns into 24 million 10 years later.
Yeah.
But see, I got to get to that person, and I got to get to that person before this guy quits. If I
Yeah.
Hmm.
don't get him somebody, he's subject to quit. Y'all need to accept that, okay? It's an absolute fact. And
Yeah.
I stay obsessed when I get somebody. I am obsessed with getting them somebody in their market. Because
Mm.
how would you like to be in pre-licensing with a friend of yours instead of being in nowhere with a stranger? You know.
Hmm.
So
That's very
Kim,
true,
you're very
Danny.
welcome. You know this. You call me. I've talked to Landry, 3 or 4
Mm.
times with you.
Yeah.
Quality, quality, quality person. So
Yeah.
anytime, man.
Absolutely.
I'm all about me and mine. Okay, that's all I work with. I don't worry about Marshall and Edward and what they're doing. I don't care. Me and
Well,
mine is all I worry about. I worry about my team. So anything
yeah.
y'all need, I'm here for you.
Thank you, Danny.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Danny. We love
Appreciate you,
you
Danny.
and Sandy, and can't wait to see you guys and Tracy, of course.
Send our
Yep.
love to them.
Yeah, send our love to them, and we'll see you at conference. Thank you so
Okay,
much.
y'all. I appreciate
Yeah.
it. Look, let's go get more people. Okay, that's the answer to
Yes.
everything is more people. All right, take over the world. Thank
All
you,
Amen.
right.
guys. I
Thank you.
appreciate it.
All
Thank you,
right.
Danny.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, thanks,
Uh,
Frank.
Can we see the
You
All
brought
right.
you
Thank
brought the
you. Thank
perfect
you. Thank
person
you, Sean.
for the
Thank you,
for
Amanda.
the
Yes.
before the conference. Yeah, you're very
That's the
welcome.
energy we needed.
Yeah, yeah, that's the energy we needed. Thank you so much for joining the call, and I hope you have a wonderful week. I'll see you soon.
Yeah, do you think we can see that? Is Joe there?